Elias Ward had spent most of his life fixing machines, not negotiating with alien empires. Yet here he was, standing at the entrance of the Villari station, a massive structure floating silently in the void. Its metal walls shimmered with strange patterns, almost as if the station itself were alive. For centuries, no human had ever entered it, and few aliens outside the Villari themselves had been welcomed. The Villari were mysterious. They never showed their faces. Every communication was through holographic avatars that changed constantly, sometimes elegant, sometimes frightening, sometimes unrecognizable. Legends told that no human could bear to see them, that most visitors left in terror or confusion. Elias, however, felt no fear. Curiosity was stronger than caution. "Welcome, human," a voice echoed through the docking chamber. Elias turned sharply, expecting a figure, but instead saw a hologram of a tall female form. Her skin was a shifting shade of soft silver, her eyes like stars trapped in crystal. She smiled, but there was something distant in her expression, something unspoken. "I'm Elias Ward," he replied, keeping his tone calm. "I hear there's a mechanical problem. I hope I can help." The hologram inclined her head. "I am Saris, I will guide you. But remember, I cannot show my true form." "The council forbids it," Elias nodded. "I don't need to see it. I'm here to fix machines, not judge appearances." That simple sentence caused a flicker of surprise in her hologram. Most beings wanted to see her form. Humans especially were said to be obsessed with appearances. Elias's words were different. They carried respect without curiosity about what he could not see. The station was immense. Corridors stretched endlessly, each filled with machinery that seemed both ancient and advanced beyond human understanding. Elias touched the panels, inspected the glowing conduits, and traced the flow of energy. Nothing was broken, but something was wrong. The station hummed not with steady life, but with distress. Saris guided him through the halls. She never left her holographic form, yet her voice became softer in quiet sections, almost like a whisper meant only for him. "The station is alive," she explained. "It responds to emotions, to moods, to trust. It has not accepted a visitor in decades." Elias paused in the middle of a chamber, looking at a massive cylindrical core pulsating faintly. "It's crying," he said slowly. "Machines don't cry. Something here feels sad." "Yes," Saris admitted. "It senses the doubt of others. Most beings fear us, fear what they cannot see. Only then do they act recklessly. The station reacts to that." Elias knelt beside the core and spoke softly, almost instinctively. "It's okay. I'm not afraid. I won't harm you. You can trust me." His voice was calm, steady, even gentle. It was strange, almost magical, how the station's hum softened, how the glow of the core shifted from dim red to a quiet blue. Saris watched silently. No human had ever calmed the station this way. Her curiosity about him grew. Why is he not afraid? Why does he not demand to see me? Why does he treat me like a person? Days passed. Elias worked on stabilizing energy flows, repairing minor mechanical glitches and learning the rhythms of the station. Saris spent every day speaking with him, teaching him Villari history, sharing stories of planets long forgotten, and asking questions about humans and Earth. "What do you eat?" she asked one day, her holographic hands gesturing curiously. "Mostly simple things," Elias said, smiling. "Bread, fruits, eggs, and coffee, lots of coffee." Her hologram tilted its head. "Coffee? It is only a seed, yet you extract power from it." Elias chuckled. "It's not magic, just chemistry, but it helps humans stay awake when they need to think." Over time, a bond formed between them. It was strange, unspoken, and delicate. Saris never showed her true self, yet Elias never asked. He learned to trust her voice, her mannerisms, the way she laughed at the small jokes he made about tools or stations. Meanwhile, the Villari Council observed. They whispered among themselves, their alien voices low and tense. Why does this human not demand to see her? Why does he not recoil from our presence? Saris herself felt a mixture of pride and fear. Humans were unpredictable, and yet Elias treated her with a patience that even her closest advisors could not achieve. She began to wonder, could he accept what even some Villari could not look at? One quiet evening, as the station floated silently near a distant star, Saris's hologram appeared before Elias in the central chamber. The core's soft blue glow illuminated the room. She spoke, voice trembling slightly. "If I reveal my true form, will you stay?" Elias looked at her, really looked. He could see the unspoken hope in her voice, the tension beneath her calm exterior. He smiled gently. "I don't need to see your form," he said. "I'm here because of you, because of what you said, how you spoke, how you exist. I'm staying no matter what." Her holographic form flickered. A faint shimmer of light danced across the room, almost like the station itself was responding. They spent hours talking after that, not as human and alien, but as two beings sharing thoughts and ideas, hopes and fears. Elias learned that the Velari had built stations like this across the galaxy, each one tied to emotions, not just energy. And Saris learned that humans could be brave in ways even she had never imagined. But not all was simple. Other ambassadors arrived, curious and distrustful. They demanded to see the true form of the Empress. They were met with resistance and sometimes fear, leaving the station in chaos. Elias, however, remained calm, steady, unshaken. His patience, his respect, and his simple willingness to stay drew Saris closer to him in ways words could not describe. One day, a minor emergency occurred. A conduit burst in a high-energy chamber, threatening to damage the station. Saris's holographic form flickered in panic. "I cannot handle this alone," she cried. Elias ran, unclipping tools from his belt. "Show me the problem. I can fix it. Trust me." Together, through instructions and careful work, they repaired the conduit. The station's glow returned to soft blue. Saris's voice for the first time held relief, almost joy. "You are different," she admitted. "No other being has calmed this station so quickly, so naturally. And yet you never asked to see me. You never demanded anything." Elias shrugged, wiping sweat from his brow. "I don't need to see you. I see you in everything you do. Your words, your care, the way you guide the station. That is enough." Silence fell for a moment, both of them standing in the central chamber, the soft hum of the station surrounding them. Then Saris spoke, her voice barely a whisper. "If I reveal my true form, will you stay?" Elias met her gaze, or at least the direction of her voice. "If that's you, I'm already staying." The words echoed softly through the chamber, bouncing off walls that had not heard a human voice like this in decades. The station pulsed. Not alarm, not warning, but recognition. It seemed to understand that trust had arrived, that fear had been set aside. And somewhere deep within her holographic projection, Saris allowed herself a flicker of hope, a feeling she had not dared to feel for centuries. As night fell over the distant stars, Elias sat quietly near the station's core, listening to its gentle hum. Saris remained by his side, her voice soft, almost shy. Neither spoke of the future nor of the Council's doubts. For now, the human and the Empress of the Velari simply existed in the quiet connection of trust, patience, and curiosity. And in the silence of space, a question lingered, one that would soon change everything. Could a human truly accept the form of a being that had terrified empires for centuries? Elias didn't need to answer. He had already shown the first answer by staying. The next morning, the station felt different. The soft hum of its machinery carried a new rhythm, almost like it was anticipating something. Elias walked through the corridors, checking energy conduits and stabilizing panels. But his mind wandered constantly to Saris's words. "If I reveal my true form, will you stay?" He had answered in his heart the night before, but now the moment had arrived. He didn't know what to expect, and yet he felt calm. The calm of trust was stronger than fear. In the central chamber, the air shimmered. The holographic projection of Saris appeared, her usual silver glow replaced with faint, shifting lights. She spoke softly. "It is time. You must see me, human." Elias nodded. "I am ready." The hologram faded completely. Light filled the chamber. Elias shielded his eyes at first, expecting some blinding flash, but when he looked again, he saw her, truly saw her. Saris was no longer humanoid. Her body was a masterpiece of flowing crystal, her form constantly shifting like liquid light. Long tendrils of energy floated around her, moving with thought and emotion. Her surface shimmered with colors that Elias had never imagined, colors that seemed to exist outside the normal spectrum. Her eyes, or the places where eyes might have been, glowed softly, intelligent and kind. For a moment, Elias did not move. He simply stared. Most beings would have screamed, turned away, or fled. Most beings had for centuries. But Elias did none of these. I'm still here," he said quietly, stepping forward. Saris's radiant form trembled slightly. You are not afraid? No, Elias said. I am not afraid. You are beautiful, and I don't need anything else. I am staying because of you, not because of what you look like. Her voice or the vibration of her form softened. The station itself pulsed with bright blue light, almost like it was sighing in relief. She had feared centuries of rejection, centuries of isolation, but this human, he saw her as she was, and he did not flee. Then let the galaxy hear your answer, she whispered. Before Elias could ask what she meant, his voice was amplified throughout the station. Somehow the comm system, linked to every Velari outpost in orbit, broadcasted his words. If this is you, I'm already staying. The message echoed in every corner of the galaxy. Thousands of Velari stopped their work, their ships, their debates. They had never heard a human speak like this, without fear, without judgment, with respect and courage. Back in the chamber, Ceres's tendrils of light shifted around Elias gently, almost like an embrace. You understand me, she said. You accept me as I am. No one has ever done this, Elias smiled. I don't have to understand everything about you. I just have to respect what you are. That's enough. Outside, ships began to arrive. Delegates and council members rushed to the station expecting chaos, expecting panic, expecting fear. But they found none. They saw the human standing calmly next to the radiant being, his hand raised gently, not in fear but in greeting. The council members were silent. Murmurs passed through their ranks. Ceres's form shimmered, acknowledging them. This is how trust begins, she said. Through patience, respect, and courage. Fear has no place here. Elias glanced at her. You don't need fear to lead. You only need those who are willing to listen and care. The Velari watched carefully. Over centuries, they had built walls of mistrust and fear. They had hidden from the galaxy, protecting themselves behind layers of appearances and intimidation. But this human, this single human, had broken that wall without force. For the first time in recorded history, the Velari Council debated not with anger, but with curiosity. How can a human do what centuries of Velari could not? One delegate whispered. Ceres's voice carried through the chamber. It is simple. He sees me as I am, not as a legend, not as a threat. He respects what is alive and real. That is all I have ever wanted. Elias took a cautious step closer to her. He did not touch, yet his presence seemed to calm her radiant form even further. He realized something incredible. In this moment, he had become not just a visitor, but a bridge between humanity and the Velari. Can I stay near you? He asked quietly. I do not need to see or change anything. I just want to help. Ceres pulsed with soft light, a gesture that felt like a nod. Yes, you may. Your courage is not in fighting, but in understanding. That is the strength I need beside me. The station's core pulsed brighter, almost as if it were smiling. It had sensed centuries of fear and isolation, and now it sensed trust. It had responded to every visitor with warning or chaos, but this human brought harmony. Over the next hours, Elias helped stabilize the station further. He guided Ceres through minor mechanical adjustments, not with tools, but with calm reasoning. Each time he spoke, the station responded positively. Each time he showed patience, her light softened. By the time the distant star's light fell across the chamber, the galaxy had already begun to change. Velari ships, previously isolated, began opening communications with human vessels. Knowledge that had been hidden for centuries began to flow. Trade, exploration, and diplomacy, all long blocked by fear, now had a chance to flourish. Ceres, for the first time, allowed herself a small smile of relief. Her people, her empire, had feared humans for generations, but one human had shown that courage was not in weapons or technology, but in trust and honesty. Elias looked at her, eyes wide with wonder. I never thought I'd meet a being like you. I never imagined I could be part of something like this. You already are, Ceres said, her form glowing softly. You are the one who changed everything. The galaxy will remember your words, and your courage will echo across the stars. And it did. Across Velari ships, across distant planets, across the void itself. Elias's words became legend. If this is you, I am already staying. It was not just a statement of loyalty or courage. It was a declaration that understanding, patience, and respect could bridge species, civilizations, and centuries of fear. It was proof that humanity could touch even the most distant corners of the galaxy. Elias spent the following weeks on the station, working alongside Ceres, learning and teaching. Together, they unlocked knowledge hidden for centuries, creating technologies that blended human ingenuity and Velari sophistication. Yet, even in all the grand discoveries and diplomatic breakthroughs, Elias never forgot the first lesson, that a simple act of trust could change everything. He had not demanded to see her. He had not judged her. He had stayed. And that choice, small as it seemed, had echoed across the galaxy. Finally, one quiet evening, as the station drifted near the blue glow of a distant star, Cirrus spoke softly. "Human, you have done what no other being could. You have stayed. You have trusted. And in doing so, you have given hope to my people and mine to you." Elias nodded, smiling. "I am staying, Cirrus, and I always will." Her form pulsed with radiant light, brighter than ever before, almost as if she were smiling. The station hummed with life. The Velari ships hovered in respectful orbit, and the galaxy itself seemed to acknowledge that change had begun. In the silence of space, a human and a radiant alien stood side by side. No fear, no hesitation, only trust, understanding, and the quiet power of choosing to stay. The galaxy had heard Elias's words, and it had begun to change.